Please welcome Tawny Turner.
Hi, really happy to be here, David. You inspired me so much, and like inspired so many other people that are here, and like I don't know, like I have a you can see I have an imaginary drink in my hand, which is I think David's favorite cocktail. And so cheers, David. Happy 70th. Thank you for everything. Thank you for teaching me to hitchhike and teaching me to ride the subway, the rails, the train rails, and everything else. This story is called Boy in Coffee Shop on Third Avenue, New York City. I used to hustle over in the square, but I don't no more. Too many creeps, wackos, loonies. I hustle just about every night, running tricks for anything between 10 and 25 bucks. I'd save a lot of it up for the weekend when a friend of mine, this guy who lived out in Queens, who I met in summer camp, we'd hang out and do crazy stuff. I'd save my money, and that way we'd have a lot more to blow when we got together. I mean, he was into hustling too, but rather than waste all weekend getting up the bucks for a good time, I'd hustle during the week and give him half when he came over. The last time I hustled the square, I had about 50 bucks in my shoe. It'd been a fucked up night, and I was trying to get 20 more. And then I was gonna call it quits. This was on a Friday night, and my friend was gonna come over the next morning. So it's about 10:30, and I found no one in about 2 hours. Heat must have been on. I don't know. So anyway, I'm standing looking in the sporting goods store, and I see this guy about 30 years old checking me out of the corner of his eye. I'd seen him around every now and then, not too often, but I'd seen him around. So we got to talk, and I told him I wanted 20 bucks, and he said, yeah, okay. And we decided to go down to 41st Street around 10th or 11th Avenue so we could save him the money for a room. That's where they park the city buses that they ain't using. So we get down there, and on the way we pass the train line. So he says, let's squeeze through the fence and do it in there. So I follow him. I follow him in, and he tells me to go down on him. Here we are, standing on this 2-foot ledge about 30 feet above the tracks and the rocks. And I go down on him, but he can't seem to get it up. A couple of cars come down, and their headlights almost picked us up, so he says, fuck this, let's go over to the buses. So we go behind this long line of buses, and he tells me to go down on him again. And as I'm doing that, he doesn't get a hard on. I'm starting to wonder if something's wrong when all of a sudden I hear this voice come from him. It was real strange, like he was crazy. He says, hey kid, get up slow now. I'm a vice cop and you're under arrest. I stood up and almost passed out. I started crying, and he goes, okay, give me all your money, all of it. I tell him I only have about 70 cents. Like, I don't tell him about the 50 in my shoe, and he says, look, if I gotta search you anymore, then I'm gonna have to kill you. So I said, hey man, this is all I got. That's why I was out here hustling tonight. So then he says, oh yeah? What about in your shoes? Got any money in there? I says, no. Well, take them off then. So I reached for the shoe that didn't have the money in it, and I got it untied, and he says, forget it. You know what? You can go to reform school for this. I could take you in and call your parents and bring you through family court. I just kept shaking. And then he says, drop your pants and turn around. I did it, and he grabbed me and tried to shove his cock up my ass. It hurt really bad, so I kept pulling away, and finally he reaches in his jacket and pulls out this big knife. That's when I knew the fucking guy wasn't a cop. So I stop struggling and he comes quick, and then he tells me to pull up my pants. When I did, he grabbed me by the shoulder and starts walking me towards the river. I was shitting bricks at this point because I knew if the guy was planning on letting me go, he would have by now, but he had other plans. And we walked to 11th Avenue and then 12th, and the guy said nothing. He was just staring straight ahead with his hand on my shoulder. Then everything happened so fast. This city bus pulled up out of nowhere about 40 yards away and stopped at the curb. I could see it was empty except for the driver who was sitting there writing in his pad. So I turned real quick and gave the guy a shove and ran like hell towards the bus and started screaming at the top of my lungs. The guy chased me a couple of yards and then ran in the other direction. I stopped and turned around and screamed, "You ain't no fucking cop, you bastard!" and started running only past the bus. The driver was sitting there with his mouth open, wondering what the fuck was going on. I circled the block and ran up 40th towards 8th Avenue, and just as I turned the corner of 9th Avenue, I almost ran smack into the fucking phony cop. He didn't see me, but he was coming fast my way, and I dove down between two parked cars and let him pass before I continued running uptown. The whole thing left me with a weird feeling. I've only been close to death 2 times in my life, and each time it left me feeling kind of weak. Like, not scared or crazy or anything. It's just you get this feeling like, man, it's that easy. It's like you can die that fast or simple or whatever. And you don't get no wiser. You don't get no new start on living. It just amazes you that your time can come up like that before you can even decide to go straight or clean or change your fucking socks or say goodbye to your friends. Like after I got away, I sat down on a street corner near my house and waited for the fucking tears to come. But all I could do was shake my head and decide I'd never go to that square again.